Hey everyone, it's Byron. I'm here to testify for Jesus Christ. Today I want to talk about the power of a woman. I am not going to talk about someone else's experience. I'm going to talk about my experience and the power of my woman, Leanne. And I'm going to do this in a certain way that this should be able to apply to all people involved. Um, I've done many testimonies about what's happened in my past. I've had some unbelievably massive, great moments in my past, and then I had a point where I crashed. Um, and when I say crash, I got to so low that I didn't know I was going to be able to get out of the bed to go to the restroom. Additionally, there was a day, not that particular day, but there was a day when I honestly thought about suicide and was on the way to my head with a gun. So if you haven't been there before, I can tell you there was a time in my life where I could not comprehend how that could happen. However, I will say this, that happened at a time in my life when women did not show the true power of a woman. Now to get that's just getting the ball rolling, being as generic as possible. But I had two extremely close to me, pretty much gang me, and when you're trying to appease people, you tolerate as much as you can, and then one or two things happen: you fight back, or you find some manner to put yourself out of your misery. And drinking was one of mine, and also that consideration. I was saved in that desperate moment by a friend. Okay, now let's talk about the true power of a woman. And since we've talked about powerless women, well, that's a power. But anyway, I want to talk about what's called Gethsemane. In the Bible, that's where Jesus prayed to God, said, "Lord, please pass this cup." And by cup, he meant, please don't make me have to give my life for these people. But he said, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will. And during that period of time, he was in Gethsemane. Jesus was under pressure. And the word Gethsemane, or you could say the Garden of Gethsemane, you could literally rephrase it as the Garden of the Olive Press, meaning that olive press has to force down and press hard on somebody or hard on an olive to get the oil out of it. And Jesus was being pressured or pressed on in the garden. So you can see it's beautiful how the Bible has that. So if you're a person who's ever gone to a Garden of Gethsemane, I think we all have, you can feel tremendous amounts of pressure and you need help sometimes. Jesus needed help carrying his cross. But then in the Garden of Gethsemane, while all this pressure was on him, his disciples fell asleep and he was all alone. And I want to talk about the power of a woman and how she can make sure someone under tremendous pressure is never alone. Okay, backing up a little bit in history, I lost everything that I ever had. I went to Baton Rouge, Louisiana with my full belongings in an old 89 Honda Accord. All of them. They all fit into an 89 Honda Accord. There was a moment in time before that. I didn't have a job. I owed money. I was going through bankruptcy, lost a car lot, and I was being, I guess you could say, sued for child support in the process, or, when you get behind, all this stuff was going on. And enter my wife, who loved me in that condition, who decided you can live with me and I'll take care of you until you're back on your feet. And there was never a day of doubt in her mind that if she got me through the period that I was in, that I would stand up and raise up and be something. As I began to recover and come back to, and she continued to just support the heck out of me, man. The Lord started revealing things to me. And one of the things that he revealed to me during that time was he had a purpose. And I began to fulfill that in video form and then also Facebook form and a website form, and also share with people in my life around 2011. I was sharing with people before 2011, but I began what you might could say a public social media type thing. Unfortunately, what the Lord had me to do was to begin talking against modern day churches. And I just want to say, if you ever, if you imagine how if you were raised, I was raised in Southern Baptist churches. And then God said, now you're going to expose the errors and what's wrong with them. And you realize everybody that you've ever known is going to sit there and go, oh my God, what happened to this man? Because in their mind, it's impossible for the churches that they know to be in error. And I sat one day in a Bible study. It was here in Decatur, Alabama. I sat one day in a Bible study and I could feel it, man. The pressure on me is like, oh Lord, are you sure you want me to do this? And a pastor of a local church looked at me during the Bible study and said, what's wrong? And I just wrote down Gethsemane. And when I passed him the note, he knew. Dude's feeling it, man. I was feeling the pressure of having to tell people that you're going the wrong way, and if you don't turn around, you're going into tribulation. The moment you begin to tell someone a correction, something that's corrective in their life, you're going to suddenly find out that you are not invited to do so, or words to that effect. Add to that, you're in the middle of an apostasy where almost no one is of that mindset, and you find yourself in an extremely small group of people. And I found myself in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, not knowing anybody in the whole city. My wife wasn't even there. She was still back here trying to sell a house. And I said, I think God got me over here to be with him. And I've been with him ever since. And he's revealed some amazing things to me. I've had some amazing experiences. I saw the Apostle Paul in a vision, which I shared with some folks here on the streets not too long ago. I've seen Jesus several times, and unfortunately, I've seen trouble that's come into the United States. But with all this going on, 2008 until 2025, the one constant thing that has been in my life, constant, is my wife's support. She has never once questioned, never once said to me, are you sure you're right? You're okay? She's had the gift of faith and said, if that's what God is leading you to do, you do it. I'm going to support you. And she has every step of the way. Within the church, within Christianity, God, and within the world, honestly, go back to Genesis and look at the curses that came out of that. Anyway, God put men in charge of families. That's just how he did it. He also put men in charge of the church. That's just how he did it. But if you find yourself in a position to where you don't have support, at least broad-ranging support, because there's so much error around you, but you have this one lady in your life who loved you so much that she was there before you had money. Um, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Now, I mean, we are absolutely blessed beyond measure. Blessed beyond measure. One time, I guess it's how God works, man. One time, um, I dreamt. I considered it a dream from the Lord. It was like you're gonna hit a jackpot, and I was like, wow, a jackpot. And I kept thinking it's gonna be, like a lottery or something. Every once in a while I'd buy a lottery ticket. Now, I didn't even live like here. I don't even live in a state with a lottery. But I kept doing that. But then one day I turned around to Leanne and I said, we're not running out of money. I would go to a restaurant and I would strike up a conversation. Some lady I never knew, in our world that thinks it's racist nowadays, would check this out. I'd be in a restaurant talking to the waitress, all this stuff, and I'd get ready for the bill. She said, it's taken care of. Oh, I changed job positions one time. I changed job position, which was a step down. And after 6 months, I said, Leanne, look, I had more money at the time, 6 months afterwards, than I would have had I not. I was like, and I came up with this thing called God math. I honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not think that I can run out of a means to live anymore. It's impossible. I don't think it's possible. I do not think God would let me. But I think it's because I'm doing his will for my life. And Leanne, she's doing God's will for her life. So I looked recently, man. I've done like 830 something. 830 something videos, bazillion posts on Facebook, gone door to door around things like that, and I can tell you, God's amazing, and God has done a lot. But there's this one lady, Leanne, who shows you how powerful a woman can be, or the power of a woman. And I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, that is my video about the power of a woman. And I would not be doing what I'm doing. I would be worried, oh gosh, these people, they're probably not going to like it. They're going to say something. Oh, probably better not do it. And then like, dude, if one person gets it, they got it. And I'm like, thank you, baby. So anyway, that's the power of a woman.